Hello friends, welcome to today's episode. I'm your host, Dr. Malama. Today, we're going to be looking at a process called BRRRR in real estate investing. So BRRRR is actually a mnemonic that stands for buying, rehab, rent, refinance, and then you repeat the process. So why is it important that you should know about this method of real estate investing? It is really important because when you look at really investing in real estate, the traditional way is you actually find a property, you put in some down payment, you go to the bank, and then the bank finances for that property, right? Maybe like 70, maybe 80% of that property. They give you that loan, right? And then you obviously start paying back the mortgage plan. However, when you're using the BRRRR method, you're actually looking at a different way, a different approach, right? So BRRRR really allows you to actually grow your portfolio. There are several ways in which it will do this, right? So the first one is obviously when you're trying to buy a property is always we say buy under market value, right? So using the BRRRR method, we're actually looking for properties that is in some type of distress. So it could be either there is a market distress. Now market distress, you have very little control over, right? Because it's just the market. Either the market is actually okay for buying, or it is actually looking at you holding onto the properties. Like you make more money if you hold onto the property rather than buying. So like it's more expensive to buy houses, right? So when you are buying, you want to buy a property that is having some type of distress. It could also be that there is some type of financial distress. Now, this type of distress is obviously more about the owner of that property, the seller. So the seller could be having some type of financial distress. So they want to sell that property so that they can have some liquid, right? Some cash. Then the other distress really is what we are looking at, is the property distress. So this type of distress, we are saying there is something wrong with the property, right? Maybe it is overrun. It has some type of, a need to renovate, right? And obviously the owner is like, you know what, I can't do it. I just need to sell this property. I need to get out of this property. Or maybe they have other properties that they are looking at, and this one has really been in bad shape. Those are the types of properties that you want to buy, right? So that you are able to now renovate and make it have some type of appreciated value. Okay, so when you buy this property, there are a lot of ways in which you can actually improve, which is the first R in the BRRRR method, which we are calling rehab. Okay, we are just trying to renovate this property. There are several ways. You can increase the square meter. So by increasing the square meter, you actually increase the value of the property. This is why you can actually convert, let's say, like a garage into another bedroom. You can add maybe a square meter, maybe you put another bathroom, right? So depending with also the laws, depending with the laws of where you are, right? Because value can actually appreciate also just by increasing the square meter of the property. Also, you can actually just do the renovation of the actual house, right? Most importantly, really, where you can actually do a lot of renovating is the kitchen and the bathroom, right? Like you are trying to both increase the cosmetic aspect, but also the functionality of that area. So in the kitchen, you can actually improve this by putting things like towels, right? Obviously, you would prefer to put towels in the kitchen rather than carpet, right? And like the rooms, the bedrooms, you can put carpets, but really towels are going to be more, and they are durable, so they are also going to be a more like protective factor to you as the owner of that property. You can also improve the bathroom, right? Like these are two areas that are really important for you to actually make sure to say they're having that wow factor, so that when you're having tenants come in, they're actually not complaining about the bathroom and the kitchen, right? During the rehab, you can actually lose money. So there are some things you are supposed to look out when you are actually buying the property before you can go into renovating it. You want to know the plumbing system, you want to know the electrical wiring of that house. It is very important because these are costly things. So you find that maybe the storage system is not working properly, you are going to lose a lot of money during the rehab. So during the buying process, you want to make sure to say you do your due diligence, and those are things you're supposed to look out for. Okay, is now you have renovated, you want to rent out, right? So what is going to determine you renting out this property? So the rent rate is determined by what we call comps, right? So you are comparing the other properties around that area. How much are they renting for, right? Now, given that your house has been, renovated, it's kind of new in some sense, right? So either you're going to be actually putting the people for rent with the same value with the comps, meaning the surrounding houses, how much they are renting for, or you can actually have a little bit of higher than the surrounding houses, because your house now is kind of new, so you're having that advantage. Now, it is important that you also consider the location when you are buying, right? So location. Actually, you want to buy this property around areas that is going to be very easy for you to rent out. So areas such as schools, areas such as hospitals, not only are you going to have workers, maybe they are lab technicians, they are nurses, right? So easy for them to actually pay you the rentals. That is one. Number two, it is also very easy for you not to have vacancies, right? It's very hard for you to have vacancies, so to say, because if there is, let's say, a doctor who's in need of a house, the first thing they're going to do is look at the location around the hospital before they can go anywhere else around the hospital, because you want to be near to your workplace. So it is very difficult for you to actually have vacancies, even when someone decides to leave the property, right? So that is important to actually consider when you're buying these properties, how your rental is going to be coming through. And obviously, you're going to be getting cash flow from your rental. Okay, the next is the most important part, right? The refinance. So during this stage is you have bought the house, you have renovated it, you have put in someone for rent. So it is generating an income, right? Which is the rent. You go to the bank and you tell them to say, okay, this is what I've done to this property. And the bank is going to actually appraise that property. And then they're going to look at it considering several factors. When they do that, they are going to give you a figure to say, okay, this property of yours is now being valued at this amount, right? So either it's going to be valued to your projected amount, which is like the after repair value of that property, or above it, which is like the best thing, right? Either at what you expected or above. Below usually means you have, or you are going to lose some money, but above is always good, right? And because of that, the bank is going to give you, if they approve to say, okay, this property is worth giving a loan on, which is a loan to value, they are giving you the loan based on the value of the property. So they can give you this, and then they'll say, okay, we're going to give you 70% of the value of this property, right? Now, what they have given you is going to act as capital. For you, that is actually capital that you're going to pull out of the deal you just made. So remember, initially you put in your own money, but this time you are pulling out that money and you are able to use that money to buy your next property, which is where the last R comes from, is the repeat of the process, right? So repetition creates mastery. When you repeat this process, because now you have the capital, you repeat this process, you go, you buy, you renovate, which is the rehab process, you rent it out, and again you refinance. So you see, it's actually giving you the advantage, because at the end of every property you are buying, you are still getting money out of that property that you can use to buy the next property, which is different when you're looking at the traditional way of buying real estate, where you are actually required to first save up a lot of money, buy the property, against that your saving up process. But in this instance, you are going to be required, yes, to save up a lot of money in the initial stage, but that is the only type of saving you are going to do if you actually really do a great job of actually doing the first deal. If the first deal goes well, you find that you're actually going to put out enough money to do your next deal, and essentially doing the same thing over and over and over. And as such, you're actually going to gain not just the experience of actually buying properties, but also you're going to gain relationships, right? You're going to make relationships with property managers, you're going to make relationships with real estate agents, obviously relationships with banks, because you're repeating this process. The bank is trusting you, they're going to be more friendly to you, they're going to give you more loans, and they're going to actually help you grow your portfolio, right? So guys, this is what the BRRRR method really is all about. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, share, like it, leave a comment in the comment section, and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Until next time, peace.